Lest we forget that when we send our children off to war, they come back different. We used to call it shell shock, the fact that their brains weren't like they were before, that when they heard a firework or a car backfire, they would find themselves back in trenches, trapped in memories and emotions that never quite filed away properly. Lest we forget that when the human mind encounters events that are completely overwhelming, the sort that one does in trenches and on battlefields, landing on beaches and trying to mend broken boys in field medical tents, we know those events can overwhelm the mind, and when it's overwhelmed, the brain can scar itself as it tries to keep itself safe. Lest we forget that most wars that have been fought were not fought because everyday people wanted to hurt their neighbors at home or overseas. We didn't want to trade our children's sanity for oils, bananas, or spices. But those in power, those with means, those who can convert missiles into profits and blood into shareholder value, they were giddy at the prospect of those transactions. Lest we forget that healing from the scars of war is not an easy task or straightforward. The majority of souls that are broken on foreign shores remain that way for the rest of their lives. It's expensive to pay doctors to study the connections between eye movement and sound and how these things can over time cause a damaged brain to heal. Lest we forget that nobody ever signed up for service in the hopes of increasing quarterly profits. Some may have just wanted somebody to fight, but most believed that they would follow directions from older and wiser people who had the interests of their nation in mind. They rarely signed up knowing that those who were older were also callous fools, profiting over pain they'd bear the rest of their lives. Lest we forget there are techniques that can heal those scars. There are mushrooms and medicines that we know could give our broken boys and girls more of who they used to be. But lest we forget that treatment needs to be profitable. Otherwise, there's nobody to grease the palms of politicians. And lest we forget the pundits who would say, you're trying to turn soldiers into deadbeat hippies. Soldiers are supposed to be broken, and they're supposed to be quiet about it. Lest we forget it is impolite to talk about the horrors of quarterly profits. Lest we forget that war is a godless hell, where we tell our boys and girls to suppress their humanity and follow orders and not to think of how those orders will hurt them. Lest we forget healing brings no profits.